Aloha, this is David Buck, and we're down today on the Gold Coast at Diamond Head. We're going to talk about the difference between condo and co-op ownership in Hawaii. And what most people don't know is this is probably going to be the highest concentration down here. The reason why we're filming down here is it's the highest concentration of co-ops here on Oahu. We do have some condos. However, with a little bit of history, I always say it's some of the best real estate gets taken up first. So a number of these buildings down here on the Gold Coast were built in the 50s. And for those of you that aren't aware, statehood here in Hawaii was in 1959. And then what happened is condo law didn't kick in until 1961. So this was the only way of ownership here in Hawaii. And when most people think about co-op ownership, they think of places like New York or Manhattan. And so here on the Gold Coast, you have a number of these buildings that are actually co-ops versus condos. And if you're really interested in the technical breakdowns between the two, I'm going to post something down in the comments below or in the description below. But in a nutshell, a condo ownership is what most people are aware of, where you own the actual unit itself. And then on top of that, or what's different about co-ops, is that you own shares in a corporation with a proprietary lease for your specific unit. Now I'm going to flip the camera around here and talk a little bit more. So, like I mentioned, co-ops are common in places like New York or on the East Coast, and they can be financed. But the trick about buying a co-op here in Hawaii is you're going to have to put a lot larger down payment. We're talking somewhere at least like around 25%, and then you're going to probably pay a higher interest rate. In general, the only lenders that will touch co-ops here on the Gold Coast are going to be your local banks, such as like Bank of Hawaii, First Hawaiian Bank, and sometimes American Savings or Central Pacific Bank. With that in mind, I sold a unit down here years ago to a client of mine who was a real estate developer from California and owned his own mortgage broker company. He's like, oh, no problem, I'll just take out my own financing. And lo and behold, their licensed brokerage, they're licensed in Hawaii, and they were licensed to do co-ops, but they could not do co-ops in Hawaii. So once again, like I said, you have to use a local lender if you plan on owning in a co-op. Here are some of the most reputable ones here, or most significant. What's cool that they do have swimming pools. You've got the Coral Strand here on the right, and then we'll be coming up to the Diamond Head Apartments next. And then the following one is going to be Diamond Head Ambassador. Now, all three of those buildings are kind of unique here on the Gold Coast in that they do have swimming pools. So, outside of here in the Gold Coast, there are other areas on Oahu where you do see co-ops, but they're kind of few and far between. And they're typically going to be down in Waikiki. So, once again, for a per capita or percentage basis, here on the Gold Coast, you're going to have the highest concentration of co-ops. To learn more about co-op ownership here in Hawaii, feel free to reach out and give me a shout at 808-371-3509. Mahalo.